Are you ready to die for your country? Are you ready to be killed for your country? Welcome to the future and the end of America. Well, the show's over. That is the election. A pageant, a contest, and guess what? The world is still fucked up. The media would have you believe that Trump as president is no big deal, but you know better. If he is allowed and not resisted, he will further rob you of your freedoms, regardless of gender or age or ethnic or racial derivation. We're all affected. Only the criminally wealthy will benefit. Only the environmental rapists will benefit. And as we know, those are often the same people. And it'll be at our expense. One painful irony we must face, for all the conflict about the presidential candidates and who will be president next, in a very important and crucial sense, it is merely a show, a magic trick, a sleight of hand, a distraction from the real problems that face the country and the world. For instance, neither candidate had any sort of real plan for reducing carbon emissions or inevitable climate disaster. Drilling would increase, extreme weather would increase, glaciers will melt, seas will rise. Neither candidate had any real plan for stopping the genocide that is taking place on our dime in so many countries around the world, except to continue it. Neither had a tangible plan or steps to take to make this country itself more equitable for all people. None of that. A show. Nothing but a show. There have been many reasons cited for the Trump victory. It seems the saddest and truest is that this is a racist, sexist, white majority country, and we desire a white, autocratic, patriarchal leader, even a felon, a liar, a convicted criminal over a black woman. So let that land. Let that settle. And before you say, well, I'm not a racist, I'm not a sexist, accept that as a country, we are. But even if Harris had won, the problems we face, the problems that are mounting every day from all sides, all issues, were not about to be fixed because we now know more than ever that Democrats and Republicans are the same. Craven politicians trying to protect their asses and line their pockets, with the exception of AOC and Bernie Sanders. And they have no power. They are merely tokens. That's the system that we accept and represents us. Why do we allow it? How have we given up? No, I believe we have been tacitly forced to surrender to this system with the only solution to destroy it or overthrow it, and that's not about to happen anytime soon. Trump has a majority in all branches of the government, and the military and police and security and intelligence organizations have lined up to carry out his reign of fascist vengeance. We have no plan to eradicate or even examine the right-wing white supremacy that grows in this country. In fact, their power will now grow and expand. We have no plan to curb military spending. Instead, we will increase it, expanding our mass death machine and the profits it brings to the weapons manufacturers who also make your cereal. And we will abandon any plan to change the economics of this country so that the genocide is not so profitable. In fact, the economics of this country will now shift into a greater disparity between rich and poor, white patriarchy, and everybody else. We will be less fair, less compassionate, and relish and codify and institutionalize our cruelty. Our plan for the homeless is to let them die or put them in private prisons for profit. We have no plan for the impoverished, for the sick or the unhealthy, except to thin the herd by taking away the government help that keeps them barely afloat. They will sink and drown now. We have no plan for the microplastics and the fossil fuels and the toxic waste and the continuing pollution of the earth, except to increase it without regulation. We have no plan to curb the large corporations that control us more and more, and profit is the main goal. We have no plan to change our philosophy from that, from profit above all else, which inevitably leads us to a more dehumanized world. These are things that people from all walks of life, all economic groups, all genders and races and ethnicities might actually even agree upon, but the powers that be would never change because they are beholden. The politicians and the leaders are beholden to these large corporations, and as long as the system works the way it does, as long as it costs $1 billion to become president, how could they not be beholden to the people that have the money? He, she, or they that pays the piper calls the tune.